Welcome back, everybody. I'm Stefan ADIKA. You're an artist on record, and this is your ultimate intimate conversation with your favorite artist. Tonight's guest is Mr. Felix Cavaliere. He's back for part two. You're not going to want to miss this one. He's going to be talking about the Young Rascals, his new memoir that's coming out, and much, much more. Also, check us out on Patreon. We have an all access VIP backstage pass that will unlock unedited content that you might not see here. But now, everybody, put your hands together for Mr. Felix Cavaliere on Artist on Record. Bam!
Well, a peppermint twist is me.
Well, as I was with Joe, I was with older guys there, and they how should I put this nicely? They were involved in a lot more extracurricular activities than I had ever heard of in my life. So I started to get a little depressed, and because I was always the front guy. I was always the lead singer. I was always, the head honcho here, the big McGilla, whatever, and here I am in the back of a band. So when we would go to work, like for example, Joey put a club in New York City. He put a club called the Starlighter. And I say this with all due respect because he's a good friend of mine. But so we would go. We, meaning the band, would go earlier than the show, and we would, warm up, sound check, rehearse, et cetera, et cetera. And there was this lady in the audience, this girl in the audience who I became very involved with over the years. And I was getting a little depressed, and exactly what you're saying, how did you do it? Well, so I was hanging around with her, and I said, yeah, she says, how you doing? I said, well, I don't know, I'm a little down, and because she would come to the sound check, she would come to all these things, and I said, yeah, I'm in the back of the band, I'm not used to that, man, I don't mind, but I don't get a chance. She says, wait a second, you don't think he's going to let you sing, do you? So what are you talking about? She's not going to let you sing.
Never going to happen.
Fill in the blank. She
Yeah.
says, you'll bury him. She's not going to let you sing. And I said, what do you mean? Trust me, you're not going to sing with him on the stage. Just take it from there.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, now my ego started to revive. Oh, I see. Show business. I see. I got it. So, she helped me out with because you get really depressed sometimes, when you've been there and you're not there anymore. And then, so anyway, it was interesting, being a, in quote, side man, because you have no responsibility. You don't have to worry about the crowd showing up. What do I care? I get paid, I go home. You know what I mean? I had a ball. But I was with older guys who had been more established, and they've been around. So it was like an experience. I really, really, I got so many memories from there.
You went to school. It was basically your college, your rock and roll college right there, huh?
But you see, the interesting thing in those days is that we had this thing called the draft hanging over us. See, so once I left college, I knew basically that, there was no sense me starting anything, because if I was interrupted to go to war, which at that time was Vietnam, there's no point. So we had to wait until that onus was taken off of us. And
Wow.
yeah, it was a big deal, man. It was a big deal. I think that the pressure, it's a difficult thing to talk about because, you want to serve your country, but war is war, and if you don't agree with the war, et cetera, Muhammad Ali, et cetera, it's not easy to say, well, what's going on here? It's not like we're being attacked, So it was a very, very tumultuous time in all of our lives, at that time, and so I when my draft status was relieved, which was, if there's a nuclear problem, we'll call you. Other than that, go home.
Yeah.
They didn't want. In the early days, they thought I was gone. It was.
Yeah. When you left Joey D, did those guys say, "Hey, you think about this? Don't go," or you just I'm going to do this other thing? Did you tell them?
Well,
or?
no. I in the interim of Joey, I got a job out in Las Vegas. Which was an interesting thing because it was a lady who was actually it was the wife of a hotel owner in Canada
Yeah.
who had a career like that, Pia Zadora type thing,
Yeah.
and so I worked out in Vegas for oh boy, 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. And it was interesting because I shared a stage with not only who was to become, my favorite drummer at the time, Donnelly, because I asked him to join us. But I was Lee Greenwood was part of that too, and he was a fledgling entertainer coming up, and now he's done quite well. But it was interesting, and then I got drafted during that period of time. So
Wow.
I left Joey to go to this job in Vegas at the Dunes, and which is no longer there. It was all like magic, I mean,
It was
like,
magic.
hey man, I'm in Las Vegas, man. Are you kidding me? How cool is this?
It was a good, and what a time it was back then. I'm sure it
I
wasn't
mean,
the
it was
Vegas
like,
that's today.
I mean, the older people, there's an older road manager with Joey, and he used to say, "Kid, your mouth is like this all the time. I'm going to use it for my cigar if you don't close it." I was in awe. What is this?
I
Look at
love
this.
it.
I come from a little town,
Yeah.
life. If you look at life like an experience,
Yeah.
it's an honor to be alive, so to speak. Enjoy every moment of it, because what the hell's going on? What is this?
Absolutely.
It's fun, And in those days, it was really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Put the Rascals, just the songwriting. I mean, these songs, when you really think about it, it's just hard for some people to write one song. But you got
Yeah.
Groovin', you got Good Lovin', you got Beautiful Morning. How can I be sure? People got to be free. Just hits after hits, and even later on, after the Rascals, you have Groovin' in the film, in the movie Lost Boys. I remember in the playing on the radio. I remember that it sticks out when they're driving in California. And just the memories of your music, as we were talking earlier when I was as a
The
kid.
interesting thing is the period of time that we were recording and making music. There were a lot of good music around, man. It's still around. I mean, look at the bar that was there from England alone.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you want a hit record, this is the level you got to achieve. See, otherwise you're gone, man. So I don't know if people realize the contribution that, let's say, for example, the top of the line, the Beatles, there made to our industry. I mean, seriously, not only did the great songs, they started, like, for example, and I've said this before, I'll just repeat myself. How can I be sure?
Be sure in a word.
There would never have been How Can I Be Sure if there wasn't Michelle or Yesterday. It never would have happened, because, see, the radio stations, they had to play the Beatles. It's not like, well, I'm not going to play it because it's a 3/4, it's 3/4, and it's a ballad and it's French, and no, they had to play it. So now they opened that door for all of us. Okay, I'm going to try something like that. So we wrote it. You know what I mean? They open these doors constantly.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of artists, they get a hit record, if they're lucky, and then they write the same record 10 times. The same thing, they change the name. Not them. I mean, they had different moods, different genres, and of course they had 3 writers in the band. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? I mean, what a band. Come on. 3 good writers as well,
Yeah.
So that was the bar that was out there. So if you want to survive, you got to meet that. And we were very fortunate we were able to meet that.
It's telling people I don't.
You had the right ingredients, you guys. There's the right chemistry there, which is hard to find. It was a good relationship like
That's
that.
the
You
magic
guys,
of a band.
it was
the magic.
it was the magic. Now, when I heard you talking to other interviews, but like a song, "Beautiful Morning," writing that tune, for example.
It's a beautiful morning.
Let's a little back up ahead. Where
Well,
did that?
I
Because such a
mean,
positive song, and
exactly.
nowadays it's for these times when it seems dreary and dark. You put that on, and I know you got to know, it'll make you feel good. I put it on all the time. I go, I feel good after
Yeah,
listening to this.
absolutely. Well, that's what it's supposed to do. You got the message, so to speak. At that time, I mean, look, you have, some people are very positive, optimistic, and some people are very negative, very pessimistic. That's why Eddie and I made a great team.
The yin and yang, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But I've always been like, wow, you know what, man? It's pretty cool inhaling and exhaling. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I had a good upbringing. I had some tragedy in my life and all that, but my name means happy.
It's
Felix
great.
means happy, lucky. So why not? So here we are. We're following grooving #1 record. I got madly in love. We're in friggin' Hawaii, for God's sake. I said, this is not too bad. You know what I mean? I could deal with this. One beautiful morning. See, because when you write from a sad point of view, you get a sad song. When you
Mhm.
write from a joyous point of view, and so that was kind of the intent, which was like a substitute rather than the actual intent is, come on, man, let's have a good time out here. Let's smile. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the sky. Look. What, are you kidding me? It was a joyous thing. So I was very involved with a guru at the time. Who, uh, in our business, as you well know, it's not all fun and games. There's a lot of really strange things happening all the time,
All the time.
all the time. And one of the things that my father instilled on me is like, he says, look, you better keep making hit records, dude, because you'll be gone in 2 minutes. I mean, you make a record and then you don't make any more, and then who's that guy? What was his name? It's
Forgotten quick, right?
what
Yeah.
you're up against. That's
That's
one
what
of the. But I mean, on the other hand, if I'm a doctor, I put that shingle in front of I'm a doctor forever until I
Mhm.
retire. See, that's a big difference. So the stability factor.
And there's a
But
lot
anyway,
with
that's a
that.
beautiful
There's
morning.
there's a lot with that it just messes with your mind. It's like it just had all
Well,
this and
that's
then
one of the reasons that
yeah,
I went to the guru.
the guru.
And the other reason is because I was friendly with George Harrison, and I was asking him about Maharishi, and
That was Mr. Felix Cavaliere, and part 3 will be on next week. Just click on the box that pops over here. Alrighty. And plus, if you're looking for more unedited content that you might not see here, check us out on Patreon. We have an all-access VIP backstage pass. Plus, the first of the month, we're giving away vinyl prizes. You want to show off your records and come on the show? Well, in Patreon, click on there. You'll learn how to play the game and be a part of the show. Until then, everybody, we love you. Thank you for your support. Please share this out to somebody that loves rock and roll as much as we do. It's only rock and roll, and we do like it. Who loves you, baby? We do. I will see you all next week. Bam. Make sure you check us out on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and all other favorite podcasts that you're looking for.